Let's ask that question point blank. Is channeling a mental illness?
The truth doesn't push you back. It expands you and opens you up. So really truth is a feeling. It's not an intellectualized concept. There's a warning for people listening to people that channel or bring through a stream of consciousness. There is an onus on the listener.
Real talk, conscious communication, and soul truths. A DM with the universe starts now.
Hi, and welcome to a DM with the universe. I'm Laura.
And I'm Hayley.
And thank you for joining us on the couch today. So I've labelled this one, is channeling a mental illness or a soul stream? Or, soul stream. I think that was a word we originally were playing with. Conscious communication, interchangeable. There may be another word that our listener will pike through and say, this is what I call it. Okay, let's go there. So recently, Clif High, an influential voice in alternative research and consciousness space, suggested that those who channel are experiencing a form of mental illness. Now, whether you and I agree or believe his statement points to something deeper, a collective unease, really, a growing mistrust, a need to look again at what we've been accepting as spiritual truth. Channeling has become a buzzword in the New Age world. People are speaking of star beings, collectives, galactic councils, ascended masters. Some have an opinion that channeling is a sign of disembodiment, distraction, disconnection. Others believe that channeling is a true connection to the divine. So I'm just going to take a punt here because I know you well enough. What we know to be true is not all channeling is created equal. Some of it might be real. Some of it might be ego. Some of it might be unhealed trauma wearing a cosmic mask. Some of it might actually mirror disassociated states. In the world of psychology, there's a term, non-pathological trance. It means someone can enter altered states, access information and receive guidance without being mentally ill. So yes, mystical experiences are real, but so is distortion and so is bypassing. So let's bring some clarity because Hayley and I don't channel identities. We don't speak as anybody else. We are not here to be vessels for other beings or borrowed light. We soul stream. We collectively communicate. So we receive directly through the sacred design of the soul, our unique, sovereign, encoded link to source. Just deep presence, clear frequency, and truth that doesn't need a name, which is why we're really struggling to name what this is. So with reverence, we open space now to ask the universe for its view, not from the human mind, so not from Hayley's mind, but from the source that is within all things. So the first question that I would like to ask the universe is, what is the true nature of channeling from the soul's perspective?
The guidance one receives from the soul is that of pure consciousness. The soul awareness is connecting into these bubbles of information that can be accessed when you allow the soul to be at the forefront of the physical experience in your third dimensional reality. The term that you use as channeling is a clumsy way of describing this, for you position yourself in juxtaposition with the stream of consciousness, not as one with consciousness. There is separation as you experience in your earth realm, and this is what the term channeling signifies in your physical reality. The proposition of consciousness as a direct stream of fluid information into every single soul being on your planet is your greatest potential manifest. This is available to all beings in all denominations of life, be that age, race, sex, gender. There is no requirement for you other than to be in possession and in connection with your soul.
So The second question that I wanted to ask was, how can we discern between conscious communication and speaking through entities or fractured energy?
I'm getting like this laughing thing because it's so multi-layered.
Did you expect anything else?
No. Okay, so the demonic reference or the entity reference that you raise here is one for another time. However, we wish to engage you in the understanding that demonic or entity forces, as you collectively understand them, do not exist. But we will come back to that. There's a warning for people listening to people that channel or bring through a stream of consciousness. There is a onus on the listener to discern the truth of the information coming through, is the first message that I'm receiving. And this is because individually we do have, I'm getting shown like leaky gut, we do have leaky energy and we can be impacted by that. So there is the inference of fractured energies, of incorrect information, of unsound information that can come through any being, me included, where we're not fully aligned in our truth at that moment. So for anyone listening, I'm getting a real thing that it's really about discernment.
Yeah.
And that's not to like put anything against anything that we bring through, but it's really good because even we know for ourselves when we do channel, using the word, when we do conscious writing or automatic writing or any sort of connection with soul, we will often even ask each other, can you just check in on that? Because you know when you do it often enough and when you have that relationship with self, I can call myself very quickly when I go, stop, I don't feel like that's clear. Say that again or connect in again for that reason.
So I don't know if
did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a question for you personally or for the universe, but I think it's really important here to go down the path of what does truth feel like in the body. So if we're asking our listeners to discern, which is ultimately choosing, is this truth or is this not, what would that feel like?
Well, for me, and let's just talk, we'll see if we can get some more information coming through. But for me, truth feels like, I know this sounds so simple, zero doubt, but it's absence of doubt and fear and anything that holds you in some kind of suspense. I'm sort of getting pushed back into my chair. Truth doesn't push you back. it expands you and opens you up. So we've got to be really mindful that our mind doesn't override our own feelings of truth, but really truth is a feeling. It's not an intellectualized concept. That's the best way I could describe what truth is.
Yeah. So for me, to add to that, because I feel things quite physically, I often, if someone's talking to me, I'll often get the goosebumps or like over my body, that truth radar. And I know a lot of people experience that as well. That is a full, this is truth, undeniable. But yes, I think for me, it's almost easier to answer what feels misaligned than what feels truth.
What feels like truth.
Yeah, I know what it feels like. Just feels off. It's not a sick to the stomach feeling, but a feeling of incongruent, where doubt, I guess. And I don't often doubt when people are talking. And I've been told have been told some pretty crazy things, and we've experienced some pretty crazy and out of this world things. So I'm very, very open to anything. But often if there's a little not quite sure, then to me that's me using my discernment and going, I don't quite think this feels like truth.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you need to go into hyper analyzing at that moment. Pull back and go, okay, I'll let that sort of sit for a couple of days and revisit that thought or that conversation or that thing that I read on social media, and sort of check back in with a little bit of space in between to go, okay, is that feeling still there? Is that inkling of doubt still there? And that only just gets stronger the more you connect in with yourself.
And we also know that words hold a frequency as well. So that's another way of tuning into truth, is you can feel whether the words are of a higher frequency, they're landing more aligned within your body, or if they're feeling dense within your body. Then the only other thing that I think we do need to be aware of is our own physical body, our own self, the filters that we're viewing life through. What's going on for us? I mean, I know I can get super sensitive when I'm got my menses, or if I'm tired. I know you're exactly the same. So then asking the question, is this actually about me? Okay. Does it feel like the universe has got any pearls of wisdom it would like to shed on that?
Okay. So I'm getting guided to say that as time moves forward, it's a whole nother thing about time, but let's say as we move forward, there will be an ability for people to not only discern within their bodies, but our senses will open into the ability to discern the energy coming out of some person, bringing through that information. So I guess you could liken it to the sense that everyone will have the ability to see an aura. There'll be a visual display of authenticity, of the quality or the resonance or level of consciousness that's coming through. That's where we're headed. Some people obviously can do that now. Just seeing like a ring of energy, essentially say it was around me right now, and you'd be able to see my intent and my purity or my connection through the color stream that would be around me, so that you can feel safe in the information that's coming through. Beautiful. There's just something I want to say about the fractured energy. They're like, is it fissures? Fissures? FISSURE. So like cracks with the fractured energy, and we all can go through moments of unbalance, unrest, emotional destabilization, hard times, that they cause these fissures in our energy fields. And that's that leaky energy. Your continual connection and relationship with self and soul is what closes those cracks over. There's nothing outside of you that can fix those cracks. It's only within. And it's that relationship. It's like this cyclic thing. So the more cracks you have, the more work you need to do in connecting in with yourself. The more pure you become, the more heightened your energy is, so that you can connect into conscious stream of information. And then it reverses back. So if I stop spending time within and not working on myself and having that relationship with soul, you become weaker in your field. So more cracks are able to be seen.
Makes sense. Perfect. Let's loop back to the episode title, which is channeling a mental illness or conscious communication? Let's ask that question point blank. Is channeling a mental illness?
I've got so much like laughter inside of me. Like you asked, you weren't expecting to get yes, it is a mental illness.
Oh shit. Everything that we've ever been worried.
Clif, you arsehole.
I know.
It's a mental illness in the fact that channeling, the word channeling and the concept of channeling in our earthly planet has been put into a mental box. So therefore it is a mental illness, because it's not viewed as the purity of conscious communication. And that's not to deflect in any way, shape or form about us changing tacks. I didn't know this question was going to be asked in this way. And again, it's been externalized. It's been given a power, has it's like a negative undertone to it. And maybe this is the collective conscious understanding of it. So it's actually been energized with that. Yeah. What else can I say about that? Okay. It is when one creates an identity for self or of self that they cannot embrace within, that they externalize into an other, is where the mental illness comes into the reference of channeling. It is their inability to accept themselves as their full soul, sovereign expression of light and consciousness. So in that essence, in that truth, there is a mental illness around the label or concept of channeling and external identity, where one has not the courage, the understanding, the love, and the honor of self to embrace their own true identity. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, I think mental illness is such a strong description and such a taboo thing. So where you've got somebody like Clif, who is a really influential voice, maybe his choice of description of what channeling is, like, I think that was on a really harsh scale. Mental illness, like, that triggers a lot of people because that's big. I tend to agree more and come back to a bit of a softer approach and go, I think that there's disharmony between the self and soul, and the acceptance that it is one in the same, and that soul can stream source consciousness.
And that's where I think, just from listening to a number of things that he said, that it was very much about creating that identity of an external being. It was interesting. And look, that right there was not the answer I was expecting. So that's really good.
Yeah.
But it does feel like truth to me. It does feel like there is a mind, a structured impact to that word.
I do wonder whether anybody that has that identity that they channel through, whether when it originated, they didn't feel safe within themselves to come out and say, this is me and this is what I'm consciously streaming. And the reason I say that is because we've got, many good friends that use tarot card as a tool to stream collective information. They're all just tools. They're all just theatrical. I know many people that use them, and they say it's just a way for the person that's receiving the reading or the soul stream information. It actually gives them something to hold on to. Their physical mind something to hold on to. So I'm wondering whether that's the same with some of these identities that people channel.
Yeah, and particularly if you've become known to channel someone or whatever it is at a time, and then you have really embraced a different understanding of that, that's very hard to shift the consciousness of others embracing that entity now. Like they're sold into that concept that you connecting with something outside there and bring that through. So yeah, and we've talked tarot, a million times together. Yeah. For me, I have this massive aversion to it. And I think that's purely it's just because for me, I've always sought a direct opening, whether that's from getting advice from someone else to help me or myself. I have never wanted the fanfare in between, because it distracts from my ability to discern the information coming through.
Yeah, agree. Okay, so winding up this episode, I don't think I can 100% on board with Clif High saying that channeling is a mental illness. It's too abrasive for me. Yes, I agree that it feels like it's disjointed, but that's just my nature, that I love to be able to soften and smooth things. And listening to Clif High, that's not in his nature. He calls it, doesn't he? And he likes to ruffle feathers. And we're talking about him, so he's done his job.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. And for me, I'm the opposite. I don't care to smooth things out. I quite like his abrasiveness. It's good that he could challenge my whole concept of that. And I've never felt like calling myself a channeler. I've always felt a bit off about that term. So yeah, he really made me do some reflection on that while you were in India.
All right, so I
was going through my own spiritual crisis while you were away.
Whilst I was going through mine. So we're all good. One thing that I would like to put out to our listeners is, if they do have a different word or description for what was formerly channeling, drop it in a message or a comment somewhere, because we would love to hear an alternative word.
Or if people actually do channel for themselves, say channel, or consciously communicate, do you agree with this? Does this feel like truth for you? you know, by all means, let us know your thoughts on it. We're always open to interesting opinions.
Anyone's got any other questions that they would like to ask Hayley and receive that direct message back from the universe, you know how to get in contact with us. Please like and share and subscribe. We really love coming to you. We really, really, really want to continue to do this work. Perhaps if you know anyone else that's needing this kind of guidance, send on the video, and we would be eternally grateful for that.
We would, definitely.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and
until next time,
we'll see you then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.